Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright. Had a pretty nice day. Out of breath. I know it's because I ate bad earlier this week. I'm telling you, my body is sensitive to everything, man. I ate just 2 days of bad food. And my body's doing all types of weird stuff that ain't got nothing to do with all the work I've been putting in. Endurance, all of it. It just goes out the window. Just 1 or 2 meals. But yeah, that's what's going on with me. Dealing with that, but man, just seeing stuff going on, man, in Gaza, bro. If y'all paying attention to what I'm paying attention to, then what your timeline looks like right now has shifted from bombings and all types of dismembered bodies to now starving people, starving babies, man, left and right, bro. It is constant. And I just want to let people know, like, what I'm seeing is there's some abnormal stuff to lay eyes on, man. This genocide has provided a great deal of absolutely and utterly horrific images. And, you know, as a black person, I can honestly say it's not the first time I've seen starving babies, because most of the time they're showing us starving children in Africa. We've seen the kids with the big bellies in Africa growing up. You can give as little as $2 a day to help save a starving child in Somalia. I've been watching them commercials all my life. They made me desensitized to seeing my own people starving. But it's a little different, unfortunately, when you're seeing other people starve, brown people starving. You're not used to seeing that as much. You know, I've been to a funeral for a baby when my little cousin passed away, Andrew, back in 1996. February, I believe it was, something like that. It's hard seeing him like that. I never got that image out of my head. Never did. He's only 2 years old. And, you know, now, grown man, I haven't been to one since. Hope to never see another one again. Hope to never have to. But the stuff that I'm seeing in my phone these days, man, on Instagram, I don't know what y'all Instagram feeds look like, man. Usually people follow celebrities, people follow pretty women, follow whatever their interests are, sports fan, maybe you're a cooking fan, maybe you love art, it's cars. I don't know what y'all feeds look like, man. Everybody's feed is custom to what it is they're interested in. The algorithm will cater to most of what you see to what you're interested in. What I usually see, honestly, beautiful women and dead Palestinians. That's the majority of my news feed. Beautiful women, because I'm a connoisseur for beautiful women. A womanizer to my heart, even though I don't act like it in the streets. When it comes to my phone, love women. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But what would be a surprise to everybody is, in between pretty women, how many dead kids I see. That would be pretty surprising. And anti-Israel comedy and stuff like that. It's a lot of that in my news feed too. People making fun of them and their position on this situation. I find it amusing. And people, you know, just sitting down talking about this conversation, because this is one of the most important conversations to me. And so that's pretty much the majority of my news feed. You'll see some Lakers sprinkled in there, NBA stuff sprinkled in there. But I don't follow too many celebrities anymore. It's just Instagram models and genocide stuff. And I'm telling y'all, man, the images I just saw right now of children, dead children, they're not even alive no more. Bodies emaciated to no end, stomachs big, bloated to no end, discolorations of their stomach just from the disease that comes from starving. These babies are 1 year old or younger, man. I'm not talking about nobody who's lived at all. Kids who need formula. People who need to feed their children aren't getting it, man. And while you may have been used to seeing kids look like me who are starving, it may not move you because of that propaganda that's been in place for so many years in this country, showing us what a black child starving looks like. There's some new images here showing us what brown people, children look like starving. And I'm telling you, it don't look that great at all either, man. I just want to say, like, it really messes with my head, man. It messes with my head because I'm desensitized to blown up body parts and stuff like that. At this point, that doesn't bother me as much in this genocide. Heads missing from dudes and stuff like that. You see that all the time. But kids slowly dying from not eating and what that looks like, that's kind of new, to be honest with you. That's kind of new, man. Not quite used to that. I don't even know what to say. You guys know I'm never without words. I can always come up with something. I can talk for an hour without a script and make sense. It's just something I've been able to do since I was a small child. But right now, I was on the train just distraught by all the images I saw of that for which I just described consecutively. Different human beings. Different babies. Just all up and down my news feed, and I'm just sitting there like, these are babies, man. And I just, like, I've said it all, man. There's nothing new to say. But it just becomes a conversation where it's like, look, man, I don't have a problem with any race of people. Whatever your race of people, I don't want to see y'all starving. I want to see y'all humanity intact. I want to see y'all be able to celebrate y'all thing or do whatever you do. I may not agree with everything I see, but majority of people, man, I don't care to stop you from living your life the way you want to. Whatever y'all into, man. I like people to be healthy, but some of y'all cultures ain't too healthy. Whatever, maybe you smoke or drink a lot. Who knows? Whatever, right? Everybody be themselves. I'm fine with that. I'm genuinely fine with that. But I don't love one race of people more than the next race of people to say, hey, just because they exist, they should be able to starve them out, or just because they think these people are going to kill us, we got to kill them first, and this is how we're going to do it. That's just, I wasn't wired for that. I was never raised to think that made any sense, bro. I don't care which people it is. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter which people it is. It could be Asians, it could be blacks, it could be Mexicans, it could be whites, it could be Indian, it could be from Thailand. I don't care for your people more than those people. So therefore, if you're in trouble and it comes between you or them, you should be able to do something to them because you exist. And it's, you know what I'm saying? That's not how I'm wired, bro. I don't care about that, bro. So when it comes down to it, and I'm looking at healthy, able-bodied Zionists, Israelis, whites, wherever you may be from, or brown-skinned Zionists from Israel, or whatever the heck wherever you're from, and you're healthy, you're able-bodied, and you're trying to rationalize to me why it's so important that you eradicate Hamas or the Palestinian people, or however you decide to word it in your conversation. I personally don't feel like that should be something that I go along with just because you're Jewish. So you should be allowed to survive because it says something in a book and that states that you're better than them. So if they're on the opposing side of you, then you should be able to kill them, starve them out, torture them, belittle their image and their reputation in your mouth, and all these different things. I'm not going to be the mind that says, well, yeah, this is just what is required for the Israeli Zionist Jews to survive. They got to kill off all the evil Palestinians because the Palestinians are raising their kids to be monsters, and even the 3-year-olds are raised to hate Jews, and they got to eradicate the Jews, so the Jews got to shoot first. I'm not going to look at it that way, man. I'm not going to look at the people who are starving and say this is what's necessary to keep those other people healthy. Kill them off. I may not necessarily appreciate it, but it's necessary because these people are better than those people. And as a result of them being better than those people, it's so very important that they survive at the expense of the other people's survival. That is just madness to me. It's madness to me. Now, don't separate children like that. If your child's in trouble and the other side's got a grown-up trying to hurt your child, I'm gonna want to stop the person who's trying to hurt your child. I'm not interested in what color that child is or why that child is, what their ideology is and what makes them tick. I don't care about none of that. A child's in trouble, save the child. I'm not sitting there saying, gee, what color is that child? What their eyes look like? Let me see what religion their parents raised them in. Let me see. Are you Jewish? No? All right, and you stand over there and be unhealthy. Are you Jewish? Yeah? Okay, come over here with me. We're going to be safe. We're going to preserve your people because you matter. Like, I don't even know what the hell that is, man. I'm not looking at the kids and saying, let me see, you Indian? No? You from Thailand? All right, cool. The Indians go over there, the Thais go over there. You black? All right, yeah, I'm black too. We come over here. Mexican? Nah, you still... Like, I don't think like that. The kids are in trouble. Bring all the children. All of them. Where they need to go to be safe from the grown-ups who are hurting them. If the grown-up look like me, I don't care. If the grown-up look like you, fine, cool. Doesn't matter. Just all the kids safe. Whoever's harming them out of the way. Like, it should be that simple. Literally. Ain't gonna be sitting up here trying to figure out, like, what diatribe is he from? What is his... What's his sexual preference? What type of human being is this? Is he a religious person? If so, what religion? Is he an atheist? Let me see. If he's a harm to a child, he needs to be neutralized. Period. If it's a set of individuals or a government, if they're harming kids, put them down like the dogs they are. I don't have a problem with that. Save the children. Not interested in what race the children are or what creed they are or if it's boys or girls or what age groups they may be, or if it's out here in these streets, what gang they may be from, or I don't care about that. Just save the kid. I don't care who it is, bro. They all come together, we all safe together. That's literally the only way it should be in my mind. So that we're a society of able-bodied and able-thinking individuals thinking and listening to the rationalization of one healthy-sided, healthy brand of people saying they're trying to preserve their health at the expense of other people who are starving and dying and going through trauma. And I'm supposed to think that the people who are able-bodied are the victims and the ones who are supposed to be protected, while the people who are starving are the bad guys. And ultimately, it's important that we continue to starve them to ensure that the able-bodied, healthy people are able to survive. I don't quite understand what those able-bodied people think I'm going to think when I see that in front of me. And I'm not interested in government officials or people who are compromised or people who are raised with the sick ideology that they're better than everybody else. If that's your way of thinking, then of course I'm just right putting you aside. But like the rest of us, are we really going along with this? Are we really going to let Israel just kind of like roll with this narrative as they're healthy and eating and laughing and dancing and saying they're doing it to all of this to these people to preserve their own health, when I'm looking at babies starving, little children starving, and I'm hearing people try to rationalize that they deserve to starve because they've been fed something in their little minds that's supposed to weaponize them against these grown-ass people who are healthy as hell. Healthy, grown, tall, strong people telling me that they are terrified for their lives and in turn are going to starve these starving people who already don't have a lot, who already ain't doing well. They're going to starve them to protect their healthy asses. And I'm supposed to just be like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Because they're Jewish, of course. Whatever the narrative they say it is, even if it don't add up in my free-thinking mind, hey, they're Jewish, man. I mean, how else are we going to keep our money flowing? How else are we going to be able to enjoy all this American stuff we got? We know that they control so much of it. So, yeah, they're more important. They don't. I mean, the Palestinians don't control my money. They don't have any say-so to where my dollars go. The Jews do. So, obviously, based on my own selfish and self-preservation, I got to choose the Jews over the starving Palestinian poor people. So that's what America's doing. And the kids are just starving. People are dying. They're crying out. Families getting wiped out by the dozens. Homes demolished by healthy people who are telling you they're terrified for their lives and that they are just being persecuted against like the worst of the worst of, possible behavior being pointed at them. Like they up there with anybody who's ever been persecuted the worst. Oh, you're healthy. Your stomach's full. Your body, your skin is full. You're looking your natural way. And when I look at the Palestinians, their stomachs starving. They're 25 pounds on these babies. Toddlers that ain't got any pigment in their skin or any fullness to their skin because they're so starved. At what point in time do I look at the people who are healthy, who are claiming that they're the victims, and apply some independent thought to say, no, you're actually the bad guy. Yes, I hear what's coming out of your mouth, as I would expect any bad guy to back his position. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody's gonna back their position. If I'm going around stealing from people and hurting people, I'm gonna still back my position with my mouth. You give me a mouthpiece, I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna try to justify that behavior. And 9 out of 10 times, you're gonna see the depravity of my actual intentions bleed through, which is what we often see from them. And they try to justify this, the choice, that part of their brain that chooses to go along with the starving of children, it bleeds through. Eventually you hear the evil and the dysfunction in there, and the lack of critical thought or what have you that would allow for them to come to this conclusion. It bleeds through their mouth. But I'm supposed to ignore that because of their importance to my situation. Whatever that looks like. You just kind of go along with it because they're Jews, man. They're Jews. They can't do nothing. I'm trying to keep my job. I'm trying to watch the Super Bowl next January. I'm not about to. If they have a problem with some people, they just wipe them away, and let's just keep winning. Like, that's what Americans are doing. Like, yo, man, hey, yo, they'll take care of you. That's above my pay grade. No, we don't talk about that. I was watching some basketball content, and somebody made a joke in their comment section. Paid to talk type situation. What do they call them shit? Super chats. Somebody put like $7 in the super chat and said a joke about the IDF. Something funny. And they didn't even read it. They didn't read it. They laughed, they nodded, and they went on to the next super chat. I'm like, these people are killing children. These people are literally killing children. They're starving children, and y'all afraid to say anything. Y'all afraid to point them out as bad people, but then call yourselves interested in what's going on with Epstein and stuff. Well, we got to protect the kids. You got a whole government sending an entire army out to destroy children, and y'all don't talk about it. You know it's happening. You know it's happening. It's just taboo for you to speak on, and you're behaving the way the bad guys need you to behave in order to allow for them to do this. You're doing it, people. You're doing exactly what they need you to do for them to be able to get away with hurting these people, starving these children, bombing these people. You're compliant. And you all agree to be. This is what we've been talking about on this channel for what? 2 years? Maybe 2-3 years now? Being compliant to genocide? We gotta stop letting people get away with this, man. Just because of their position to be able to harm what it is that you got going on or keep up what it is that you ultimately appreciate. You're killing these kids too. I want to point a finger at Ghislaine and all of them, but you're doing the same thing. You may not be doing it the same way, but you still contribute to the deterioration of these children by being afraid to speak up on what it is that's happening there. There's no way that I'm going to be so afraid that the structure of what I got going on is going to deteriorate that I ain't going to point out somebody who's harming a child, man, let alone thousands of them. Y'all want to be whistleblowers in your respective corners. Will snitch on this, that, and the third. But then when it comes to this, it's like, nah, I don't have a word. Don't you see all hypocrisy? Why do you draw the line when it comes to the Palestinian people? Are you not a racist yourself? You must hate them too. That you would favor a healthy Jew over a starving Palestinian child. I'm sorry, I don't understand you. I'm confused by your very existence, let alone what's coming out of your face. If this is the type of people that are around me, I don't understand how you're even around. You're a disgrace. Your deterioration to my comfort in life when I know that this is what you're comfortable with is I walk the streets. Y'all confused calling yourselves individuals that'll protect the child or good people or people going to church, this and that. But when it's time to talk about Israel and the IDF, mum's the word. Y'all got nothing to say. But you're very careful not to speak the truth. Y'all know the jokes. Y'all laugh at the joke, but you won't say the phrase. So that tells me you know what's going on there. And you know the importance of what it is that's taking place and the perceived importance of the people who are doing it, which means that you are complicit to it. And you're not speaking against that, you're complicit to it. You're fine with it because of them. Because you favor them over there. And that, my friends, is not fair to these children that are starving. Letting their bad guys be so powerful and have such a stranglehold on your psyche that you allow them to harm these kids just off the strength of their race and their position in your structure in this country. It is an embarrassment to be amongst y'all, to call myself an American citizen while this is happening. It's an embarrassment. It's a disgrace. And I'm doing everything I can to separate myself from it as much as I can. As much as I can. There's thousands of videos at this point, I'd imagine, that I've made on this subject alone. I would go say thousands. Who knows how many I've actually made? I've far beyond lost count. Probably half of my therapy sessions, basically, has something to do with this, man. I don't perceive myself at this point being associated with compliance to genocide. I've flooded this YouTube with so many conversations about this, till when you look up my name and you click on any of my videos, I think it's a decent chance you're gonna hear me condemning Israel and their nonsense. There's a good chance, very good chance. If you follow me, regardless of what we talk about, if you clicked on anything that wasn't about the Lakers, you heard me talk about this. Because that's how much of this I've talked about. Because I'm not going to be one of them people that went around with the status quo against those who didn't have the ability to defend themselves. And can call myself a black person. When my people was in bondage just 5 generations ago, and we needed people who had a bit of privilege, who also benefited from our slavery, to help free us. To raise awareness about the movement. For us to have freedom and for us to have civil rights and all of this, man, we needed not only ourselves to stand up for ourselves, we needed people who benefited from the stuff that was going on to step up and benefit as well from the good reputation that came from being on the right side of history. Not just sit back and comply with the status quo of the times that made it lawful for the people to treat us whatever way they wanted to. Today it's law for the Palestinian people to starve to death. I'm not rolling with that. Just like I would hope you wouldn't roll with slavery if you were alive during those times. But I know a good fortune of you would, because you're going along with genocide. Because of who's in charge, and it makes it so that we can keep on doing what we're doing. And if we don't go along with it and everything falls apart, it's the same thing that 1800s white America was going through. Some of them probably didn't feel particularly comfortable with slavery. Some of them people wasn't rich enough to afford slaves. They didn't benefit from it. But they went along with it because doing so fed their stomach. I just ain't gonna go along with what everybody's going along with. In my times, I'm not gonna do that, man. I'm not rolling. If it cuts off a few things, it keeps me from getting whatever, who cares, man? I'm gonna die anyway. Everybody dies anyway. Ain't gonna be here that long. Ain't like I'm gonna be immortal and I'm gonna always live poor, or I'm gonna always live without whatever I dream of. At some point I'm gonna die any damn way. Let's utilize our time trying to make the changes in this world necessary so that everybody can have a chance to eat tomorrow. If for some reason my ceiling is capped off today because of what it is I'm standing for, make it worth it. I ain't saying things gonna be perfect, but make it damn worth it. That's my point. Plus, I'm wise enough and smart enough to know we don't know who the hell these people are killing. Let's just be honest, bro. We don't know who's gonna grow up to be what. And I've said this a million times, saying a new thought, but like, who knows who these people are underneath this rubble that we can killed off, bro? People who can help us in a million different ways. And many of y'all will say, especially Jews, will say, well, they haven't contributed to anything. It's because you kept your foot on their neck. You think Jay-Z would turn out to be Jay-Z? You think Obama would have turned out to be Obama if we were still in slave chains? No. You got to get your foot, the white foot, off the black neck for them to actually contribute. And in this case, you need the Jewish foot off the Palestinian necks in order for them to contribute. I ain't going to ignore that big-ass foot on their neck when trying to assess what their contributions to this world is. Sorry, I'm not doing that. I know that's a narrative that allows y'all to continue to go along saying you're more important than everybody else, but you took an opportunity and you made it what it was. If they had an opportunity, maybe they'd be able to do the same. But if they were depraved of that opportunity, don't sit up here and tell me you were the same. You had a head start. They didn't get one. Don't tell me that. Don't ask me what the Palestinian people have contributed to this earth without acknowledging that they've had a neck capping off their work, a foot on their neck capping off their work. That's what I'm trying to articulate. So that's my point of view, man. I'm not cool with any of this. I don't care how many people are. That's been the theme of the day. In my first video we made this morning on therapy session, it was a similar point. I'm not going around with the status quo just because. It got to make some sense to me, and it got to be riddled in compassion and love. If it's not riddled in both, I'm not interested, bro. I don't care how many people doing it. You can have 3 worlds of people doing that shit. I don't care. My God is bigger than that. My confidence is to stand behind him when looking at the vastness of the world and what the man and woman of the day sees. I don't think they know everything they need to know. If they did, there would be no disease, there'd be no sickness, there'd be no conflict. None of this. No jealousy, no stupidity, none of that. If man knew everything he needed to know, it would figure out everything he needed to figure out. There's still stuff he's trying to figure out. So how I trust so much in man? Man ain't figured nothing out yet. Stand behind God. A God so perfect that he continues to prove himself to man, and man still can't understand the vastness of what he's being shown. Man will live his whole damn life thinking there's no God after God and spent his entire life proving his existence. That's the irony. God been proving his existence in 41 years of my life, fam. I don't get to run around and listen to some random stranger who don't know what the hell I know telling me that God don't exist. I've known God for all my life. It's proven not to be reproven just because you're not able to see it. I don't care what you see. If you lived through my eyes, you saw what I saw, you'd see. It ain't for me to comply to you who does not know when I do. I'm not going to live in a space where I'm compliant to your delusions or whatever it is that your ignorance is. I know something you don't. I walk in the confidence you don't get to walk in. That's just what my privilege is. And that's how I walk the earth today as it pertains to many things that I do that others don't. I know God differently than a lot of people do, man. And I'm telling you, that's why I speak so confidently when I speak about this conversation, despite it being so very acceptable that I don't speak at all and watch these people starve to death. I'm not rolling. I know God, I don't have to roll, man. And so let me tell you, racism is a wickedness, man. Colonial white supremacy is wickedness, man. It's all against God. I'm not saying that every person of color is a good person or that every young child is going to turn out to be some incredible contributor. Some people are really awful human beings. Some of these people that were probably under rubble in Palestine probably weren't that great of human beings. They probably wouldn't have grown up to be great people. There's balance to all of this. Who knows, right? There's no perfect science to this. People are people, bro. The hearts of men can be evil and cold. For all I know, it's the descendants of these Palestinian people who do survive. They're going to commit the next genocide. I mean, what do I know, right? I ain't going to rule that out. As much as I've seen evil from men of many colors, I inhabit a black man that I respect to be a good person. I've also known many evil black people. So I ain't ruling out good and evil in your group. But as it pertains to collective white supremacy, that's an evil idolization of self-exhaustion that backs everyone who believes in it into demonic corners from which their morality is only selective in nature. So even if they have a good heart, if they adapt to their ideology, it will allow them to walk the lines of evil no matter what. You're going to color within the lines of evil as it pertains to the coloring book analogy. You're going to stay within those lines. That's what that ideology backs you into. I think anybody who realizes that their people have woken up to the understanding that the world does not appreciate their ideology as it pertains to hurting other people for their own self-exhaustion and or self-preservation as a people, when you see no evidence whatsoever of them actually being depraved of anything, but more so those they are pointed at saying that they're the bad guy being depraved of everything, when you wake up to realize the world doesn't appreciate that, and you hear conversations like these, my best advice to you, if you would be willing to take it, is to denounce that ideology entirely. First generation ex-Zionists, don't be that shit anymore. Put it down, put that book down. Find a new way to play as it pertains to the game of life. Stop being that shit. Don't try to be the good version of that shit, because that shit don't have no good in it. As I said, the ideology will force you to trace within the coloring book lines of evil. And its definition of evil is warped to align with its own self-preservation at the expense of others, which in and of itself doesn't add up in other aspects of mathematics. When you try to apply that line of thinking to other aspects of mathematics, it does not work. So as it pertains to humanity, you should clearly see why it does not work. Because you want me to align with some shit that doesn't even make any sense. You want me to look at your healthy ass, tell me that it's okay for you to starve a child so that you can survive. There's nothing threatening your survival. And it isn't because of the means of which you're willing to take it as it pertains to starving out a kid. It's because you have a narrative that you're following down the path of emptiness as it pertains to you actually being a victim when you're really an aggressor, a conqueror, a pirate, a thief, a liar, a cheater. That is what your ideology is based on. The continuation of being an awful human being toward others so that you can dominate the world in self-exhaustion under a God that you don't actually believe in. That's the reality about Zionism. Israeli Zionism, American Zionism, Christian Zionism, any other Zionism. It's all about white supremacy giving itself passes for doing awful shit to everybody. That's all it's ever been about. And while you may have been raised in it, did you do any homework on it? You might have been, everybody you ever known might have been in that space. And you might consider that your people. But if your people, by definition in any other form of math, are the erasers or the minus sign to humanity, then where does this actually continue to be something you should try to be? Because it's not as simple as just being a black person. I'm a black person. No, you got an ideology that goes along with your identity as people that make it so that you're weaponizing yourself against other people. I don't have that identity in my life. It's not attached to my skin, friend. It's not attached to my religion at all. I can stand still. You guys can revolve around me a million different ways, or I can move out the way or whatever. It doesn't require that I hurt nobody else in order for me to survive. So if you're going to be a part of those people and that's how you move, then you're not going to be in solidarity naturally. You're somebody that has to be moved in order for others to stand. That's not an identity. That's an aggression. It's an aggressive ideology meant to self-preserve at the expense of other people. So stop telling me about your people. Because people stand still. Aggressive ideologies and cults move like that. That's not an identity. That's an agreed aggression. Are you awakening to that as we're all reacting to your behavior in real time? Now that it's been exposed to all of us? Since you know and I know that you were raised to keep it from us. Do you know why? It's because when it's exposed, this is what is shown. You ask yourself why you didn't want to tell the Goy why you did all the things you did? Why you have all the ideologies and the ideas about things that you do? If you're so chosen, then why do you need to protect against the truth? Why do you need to be forced into lying about things in order for your people to stand in existence? Why do you have to believe you're a victim all the time? All the time. Black people in our own races and different cultures and within our race, we often talk about not being a victim of the victim mentality. Don't be a victim mentality. Rise above that. But 9 out of 10 times we're actually victims of white supremacy and its ideologies. When it comes to the Zionists, they literally are aligning with victim mentality. That was a projection of their identity flaws upon our people. Because they weren't actually victims. But they believed inherently they were constantly at some threat. Absence of the self-realization that they were aggressive in nature, welcoming that threat. Absence of the self-awareness to say that there would be no threat without the agreed aggression that we seem to identify with. You don't run around telling me, stop acting like I'm a victim. Damn it, we were victims. We went through slavery, forced aggression as it pertains to our ability to read and keep an education from us. Every time we built anything, Black Wall Street, this and that, they were torn down, destroyed. Anytime we had any risings and any resistance, Black Panther parties, Malcolm X, people were murdered. When you look in our neighborhood, you see liquor stores and drugs and guns being planted in our spaces. We weren't going to get those things. We sold them after they got into our midst, but we didn't cook that stuff up. We were taught all that. By who? Take a guess. We used the tools that were in place, but we didn't bring them tools to us. We were victims. And that was a projection onto us from those who were playing victim while making victims of all of us. And it was a mind screw and a gaslight, so to speak, that you would take people that have had the worst things done to them and then tell them they have no entitlement to feel sorry for themselves for having gone through those things. Meanwhile, having gone through very little of your own without the presence of you welcoming it, you identified as a damn victim. And gaslit everybody who would otherwise point out the fact that you were doing so. Let me fast forward to where we are today. You're worried about somebody taking something from you. Oh, they're going to steal our jobs. And don't tell me it's just Zionist white supremacy. This is white supremacy of many kinds. Always trying to gaslight people they've victimized, and then furthermore put in position some culture of self-pity that they were always able to absorb around. Oh, make America great again. Look at what the Browns and the blacks have done to us. Ain't nobody do shit to you. There's your own people doing this to you. It was always you doing to us and doing to each other. That's always what it's always been. Nobody else. We don't have to hurt people in order to exist. Y'all do. Or at least you believe you do, and you've always done it. Y'all don't want to take pride in hurting other people and taking things and taking land and terrorizing people and shit. Just whites of many kinds doing that. teaching others how to do that, making it normal that it be done under some form of religion, Christianity, Judaism, Catholicism. You always took some type of religion and stood behind the shit to justify all that evil stuff you were trying to do to other people, and the agreed aggression, agreed upon aggression. And furthermore, gaslighting and self-victimhood or what have you. That's white history, many forms, and y'all gotta respect that that is something that you continue to show in modern times. Standing on the backs of other human beings to continue to spread your intentions, to dominate the world, instead of just standing still and letting the world move around you comfortably, like the rest of us can do, like the rest of us are capable of doing. If there wasn't no white supremacy in this world, do you know how comfortable the world would be for everybody? Without that fucking pirate that's constantly looking to take something and then furthermore lie about something. And you just destroy that ideology within those people and leave us all with people who are willing to stand still and just be themselves. You know how much comfort this world would be in? You know how little starvation, how little greed would actually be promoted going forward? We have a cancer amongst us, and we need to stop aligning with its intentions to self-preservation as it pertains to our behavior. Doing exactly what it needs us to do in order for it to continue on the path it's been on. We gotta stop this. Of course it's gonna take its position. Of course it's gonna lie. Of course it's gonna justify its intentions. Of course it's gonna say it's necessary and that all of us need it. Of course it's gonna do all this type of shit. Everything cancer is gonna do, try to make itself exist. You're damn right, it's gonna do everything it can to continue to exist. And in its existence, it's gonna continue to try to erase all of us. And we can continue to play into its hands and whatever it needs us to do. And we continue to act like the one or two good people within it are just the representation of all of it. And it's going to keep on doing this shit over and over and over again until there ain't nothing left to pillage. I'm tired of behaving, playing into the enemy's hands as it pertains to my behavior, what it needs me to do. I don't care what you need me to do. You are cancer. I need to survive you. And of course you're going to take your position. Of course you're going to tell us everything that's coming against you is wrong. It's called self-preservation. But some of that stuff is aggression. Some of that stuff is just a byproduct of your identity as aggressive beings looking to take and do the devil's work on this earth. What you want me to say? That I'm exempt from this? A good portion of my family tree is white. I'm not exempt from this. I don't get to stand aside and say I'm only black and Native American. Nah, buddy. Unfortunately, I derive from white supremacy. I don't know what that means as it pertains to how much I deserve when it comes to my lineage, whatever, however. But I want you to know that I stood aside from that and didn't go along with that in my time. That's all I can do. I don't know that I won't have children that end up being white someday. Grandchildren, great-grandchildren, I don't know. May not be no traces of my African-American heritage 700 years from now. But you're going to see in the cloud there was a person in this skin, in these times, telling you that I was not afraid to speak against all forms of human cancer coming against the people. I was not afraid. I was not too warped in the ways of the world in my current day to not stand back and say, this hurts. This hurts us. This hurts others. Children are dying and people are fine with it, and this hurts. This is not okay. This should not have been normalized. Whatever got us to this point was not for our betterment, because look at what we're giving to the world from going forward. It pertains to our behavior and our compliance to genocide. Look at what we're doing. I'm seeing starving children, and the best that people around me can do is wave a damn flag that represents those who are coming against those people in the name of itself. I'm sorry, friends. That's an ideology I'm not going to roll with. Yes, I too was raised to put my hand over my heart and say a pledge and all these different things. And I also see what this thing is doing all over the world. And it's wrong. Can these two things exist at once? Or do I have to pick a side as it pertains to my ability to think? That's really where I'm at with this, man. I'm not interested in pretending like my brain can't go in both places at the same time. I understand I was raised as an American. I know all the songs. Oh, say, can you see my country tizzity, all that shit. All of that was put in my damn skull. You know what else is in my skull? The images of children that have been killed. Lies that have been exposed. Good people that I've seen being harmed by this thing. People that I know are good people. Being harmed by people that I know are no good. Who stand behind my flag just like I do, man. I'm not that type of stupid. Never been that type of dumb. Watching people selectively expose their selective humanity, right, or what have you. They care about these kids over there and don't give a damn about them over there. They call themselves great humanitarians, but when it comes to these people harming those people, they pledge allegiance to these people because of what it does to benefit them, and then they point out hypocrisy everywhere they see it. Nah, man, I don't know what the hell that is. What is sorcery you're under? I'm not under it. Whatever algorithm that has you lined up thinking that shit is okay or that it's wise to be that way. I'm not on that. That's not the frequency I'm on. You don't get to hurt good people and then think I'm just going to go along with that. I don't understand that. I'm not going to go and understand that. You understand what I'm saying to you guys? I'm not. And so as it pertains to the people of Palestine who are going through what they're going through, I'm not okay with it. I don't care how many people who agree with, my flag or whatever, who want to represent my country and all this other stuff that is fine if we're not doing evil stuff to people who don't deserve it in the name of it. You want me to say I love my country? Fine. I'm trying to represent this in that. When you think of America, I kind of want you to see this here. Someone who was unselfish enough to see what America was eating off of and realize, it's hurting other people. That's the America I want to be a part of, not the America that I'm seeing that doesn't give a damn about those people over there, unless they're European or some type of ally or some shit. Then we care, then it's just, oh my God. Kids are dying. What color are they? What religion are they from? Are their parents heterosexual? Are they, let me know. That'll determine how much we care. What's their skin color? What does it look like? How dark are they? Light? Oh yeah, we care. Dark? I don't want to be bothered with that. That type of selective humanity is what ultimately is representing my country right now. And as far as I can tell, I need to do something about that. And that's exactly what I've been trying to do here, man. That's what my voice is about. That's what my existence is about. It's about showing y'all an American from the biggest clout chasing city in the history of the world, America, Hollywood, California. The biggest attention seeking, fame hoarding space the world has ever created for itself. I'm from the heart of that. And I'm telling you, I will stand against the entire world if it means protecting children, man. I'm not the bravest soul in the world. I'm not the most unselfish human being in the world. I'm not devoid of sin or any of those wonderful things that I could love to say if I'm some type of angel. Nah, none of that. But what I can say is, with the voice I have, this is what I try to do, man. BDL 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.